everybody, I'm Tartarus Pictures. Happy October, even though it's actually September when I'm recording this. This is something that I've been wanting to do for quite a while now. Horror is undoubtedly my favourite genre of film nowadays. As a film student, my ideas have mostly been inspired nowadays by people such as Mr. Creepypasta, Nick Spheres, Creeps McPasta, Rainbot Horror, Welcome to Night Vale, Nightmind, you name it. I'm especially a fan of supernatural horror, stories that involve otherworldly demons or monsters that have come from well beyond the grave. There is an infinite list of subgenres that you could do with horror. Comedy, psychological, slasher, porn parody. Yes, that is a real porn parody that exists. Humanity was a mistake. Speaking of mistakes that humanity never should have made, there's a certain subgenre of horror that has both fascinated and enraged me at the exact same time. This is something that I've been very vocal against on this channel in the past. It's a certain type of film that involves often just a handful of people wielding only one camera, relying on nothing more than jump scares in an attempt to be creepy. I think you already know what I'm talking about. Of course I'm talking about found footage. I've displayed my opinions towards this in the past, but I've never actually made a proper video about it. So I decided, let's make another episode of Behind the Lens specifically focusing on this. I hope you enjoy. Found footage has always been a controversial subgenre in cinema. Either you love it or you hate it, and occasionally you'll find a film like Wreck that actually turns out to have a good story with really interesting characters that manages to scare you. These were often films that would have little to no soundtrack whatsoever, have actors that were likely in their first ever feature-length film, and were shot over the span of a couple of weeks with such a ridiculously low budget that it could be mistaken for a student film. The problem is though, is that these films would rake in such a large amount of money for the company that was making them, mostly thanks to that movie's really low budget. These companies, and by companies I mean Blumhouse, would make extraordinarily large sums of money for little to no effort being put into the production. Jeez, and they think my generation is lazy. In 1999, The Blair Witch Project was released in cinemas, a found footage film that gained widespread media attention and critical acclaim. It scared audiences so much that people suspected that what they saw was real. It left a massive impact on audiences that's still being felt today, all thanks to great characters, a villain that you can't see, and a terrifying ending. People had never seen anything like this before, a point-of-view film showing the characters' descent into the final days of their lives, and it's all caught on camera. Fast forward another 10 years and we have even more of these coming out to much less acclaim than Blair Witch. It became clear that studios were only doing this to make large sums of money really fast. If you want proof of this, look no further than the Paranormal Activity series. Paranormal Activity received the same kind of praise as the Blair Witch Project upon its first release. In fact, it was so popular that it caused Saw 6 to almost bomb at the box office. People were loving this new kind of horror, and so studios, and again I just mean Blumhouse, decided to milk this thing completely dry just for the sake of making a large amount of money. They got rid of all chances of having good characters or plot developments or stories or good settings just so they can make a large profit. Hooray! Capitalism! Instead of becoming like the Marvel Cinematic Universe by expanding on your stories, your characters and the world surrounding it, you just became like the Transformers movies and were releasing painfully unfunny material every couple of years just so you can make a lot of money really fast. That all being said though, is there any good that has actually come out of found footage? Yes. Yes there has. And that's what we're going to talk about in this latter half of the video. Like the Blair Witch Project, found footage has actually managed to produce some top quality films. I previously mentioned Wreck as a good example, a story about a Spanish news report gone horribly wrong as the reporters get stuck in the beginning of a viral outbreak of zombies in a hotel. The camera movements help to create the atmosphere as each of the characters are fearing for their very lives. You sympathise with them and you actually want them to survive, but deep down, you know that no one is safe. Wreck kept me on edge with every second the story progressed. The small and closed-in environment created an atmosphere that was extremely claustrophobic, and you don't normally get that with zombie films, let alone found footage. However, that's still not the best film within that subcategory that I've ever seen. The best one I've ever watched is 12 minutes long, it's on YouTube, it's completely unnerving, and it was the main inspiration for this video. It's a little short horror film called This House Has People in It. Just a quick word of warning, I will be including footage from that short film in this video, and it's really creepy and downright disturbing, so you've been warned. I first found out about this short film through 90mind's analysis of it. It's a short story taking place on the birthday of a young boy named Jackson. It's all shown from security camera footage looking in on each room in this house. In the kitchen you see an argument between a mother and a father with their daughter lying on the floor, and in the basement there is a repairman at work. However, we later find out that the daughter lying on the ground is slowly sinking into the floor and into the basement, causing a series of events that cause the family to fall into complete disrepair. Whilst this is all happening, a series of blink or you'll miss it moments are happening on screen in the camera changes and outside in the front and back gardens. It is a deeply unsettling film that will make you struggle to sleep at night if you watch it. This House Has People in It is a film focusing on the derangement and dysfunction in one family while something far more sinister is following them and slowly tracking them down. Now that is how you do found footage, folks. Even if you're not going to be adding in a soundtrack, you can still find ways to creep out your audiences without having to resort to unnecessary jump scares. The characters are what help to make films like This House Has People in It, Wreck and The Blair Witch Project to work. By placing them in situations that you know they're probably not going to get out of, but they try to anyway, it helps to build the suspense and the drama. And jump scares are not the way to do that. Film is a unifying thing that brings together people of all ethnicities, backgrounds, sexualities, genders, political views, class, you name it. For 2 to 3 hours we can all sit together, put aside our differences and enjoy something that we can all uniquely enjoy. And there is no genre that does this better than horror. I say this mainly because of infighting from other genres. Seriously, sci-fi and fantasy need to sort out their fandoms. Horror can be both a beautiful and a horrifying thing at the same time, and that's what makes it so good. Mixing what we fear the most with what we find so entertaining helps to make this a really good art form. Okay, I'll be honest with you, I was not expecting this video to end on a positive message. This was originally planned to be a rant, but hey, I'm not even sworn once yet, so there's something. Hey guys, so I hope you enjoyed this latest video. This will be the first in a few that will be coming out over the next few weeks. I've wanted to do something like this for a while, and I hope you really like it. This is officially the second episode of Behind the Lens, and I'm really liking this series so far, even though it's only episode 2. But I promise you there will be more of these coming out in the near future. Assuming I don't fall off the map for 3 to 4 months again. Yeah, sorry about that. Guys, thank you so much for watching this latest video. Let me know in the comment section below what you think of found footage, and also let me know what your thoughts are on all the films that I've talked about tonight. And so, other than that guys, I've been Tartarus Pictures, and I hope you have a spooktacular October. Good night.